Hey, good morning and welcome to the NextConnect webinar series. My name is Michael Ramsey. I'm Director of Marketing and Brand here at the National Service Center. Glad that you could all join us here this morning. Our goal is to bring you the latest membership, marketing, and communications tips and tools and tricks, along with research and insights straight from the experts and volunteers in the field who are making it work. So, as always, our goal with the NextConnect webinars is to keep them short and concise, really just under an hour. We record this and we do share it on the Scouting Wire later on. So one of the ways that you can help us on today's broadcast is to please mute your phone. If you would, just reach over and put it on mute, and that way you can listen in, and that way we don't get car noises and dogs barking and all the other fun stuff that we sometimes hear in the background. As entertaining as it is, it won't sound good on the audio later on. So again, glad to have you all with us here for the May NextConnect webinar series. Before we get on with the content, just one quick announcement, and we'll hear from her later on in the year, but we have a new communications director here at the Boy Scouts of America. Her name is Effie De La Marcos. She joined us just a few weeks ago. She comes to us from a stellar career in public relations and marketing agencies, both on the corporation and the agency side, and she is terrific. And again, she's only been here for a few weeks, so we'll let her get her wheels underneath her, and then we'll have her on probably the June broadcast, and you'll have a chance to meet Effie De La Marcos. She is terrific. So, moving right along, big topics right now. We've heard a lot about the new Lion program that's been starting here. And to join us to talk about Lion, not Lions, as Darren corrects me often, is a pilot that we're working on. And so I've asked Darren to join us, and Darren has been working with the pilots and programs team and really putting the pilot together and begin to roll it out to the field this year. So Darren, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey Michael, how are you? Glad to be
fantastic, here. Fantastic. So tell us a little bit what is the Lion pilot and where do you see it going?
Yeah, so the Lion pilot is Cub Scouting's pilot program for kindergarten age boys. Great program, launches this fall in, as of today, over 180 councils participating. And basically the program is designed to deliver the fun and excitement of Cub Scouting to families in an introductory way, reaching kindergarten age boys and their parents.
180 councils, that's a lot of councils.
That is absolutely terrific. Yes, it is, and we're very thrilled about that. A great number and growing by the day. And really, when you boil it down, the pilot program is designed to do a few things. One, deliver fun while achieving Scouting's desired outcomes. It's meant to be very active and fast-paced and exciting, deliver hands-on exploration and excitement, and of course values-based content that we expect from all of Scouting's programs. But really, most importantly, and something that parents of new Cub Scouts told us last fall in a joining survey, that parents today are looking for quality family time that they just can't find in their schedules. And many of them joined Cub Scouting because this was one way for them to get that quality family time. So this pilot was developed with that in mind, in developing a lot of parent and child activities within the program.
Well, that's interesting because we know that Cub Scouting is really built on its family, fun, and friends as kind of the core brand position, and this is very similar, right?
Absolutely so, very much so.
So is it built like Cub Scouting?
It is, but we need to be very careful about how we think about it. It's an introduction to Cub Scouting. So lion dens are definitely a part of the pack, but let's also keep in mind that this is a pilot program. So as we go through this fall, we may learn some things. The program may be tweaked slightly. So although it is aligned with Cub Scouting, it's not yet officially adopted as a rank within Cub Scouting. So that's a distinction to make there.
Okay, so it's not a fully baked separate program. We're really thinking about it in terms of the Cub Scouting universe then, right?
Yeah, correct. They are very much aligned.
Okay.
Yep.
So for the benefit of the marketing folks on the line, so what marketing assets are going to be available to help recruit families into the program, right? Because it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, and there are a lot of great, cool things in development right now. And just to highlight a few, there's a promotional video coming that will really be great shareable content on your social media channels, great to download and use as meeting openers and closers and things of that sort.
So this is like a commercial then?
It is. It's a 30-second spot, and it's in development now and should be available within the coming days. As well as a full suite of Build an Adventure creative assets. So very much like you've seen Build an Adventure assets for Cub Scouting, there will be a set for Lion as well.
So because this is part of, really again, part of the Cub Scouting universe, or seen as a pilot around Cub Scouting, we didn't go off and bake up a complete separate recruitment program that's Lion themed. Correct. It really is part of Build an Adventure.
Yeah, absolutely so. And what you'll see are things like flyers, yard signs, email blast templates, social media artwork, using multiple creative images, so you have a lot of variety to choose from within those assets. Of course, they're all fully customizable at the local level in terms of adding local event text at the in the appropriate places, and there'll be packages available in English, Spanish language versions, and bilingual versions. So really a complete set of recruiting assets for this fall.
And so this is new, and it's really for a younger age boy. You had to go out and do whole new shoots of video, all new photography. All this is brand new, right?
Absolutely brand new stuff, specifically geared to that kindergarten age boy and his mom.
Perfect. So very mom focused, sounds like.
Very mom focused.
Okay,
indeed.
so as marketing people, I know that a lot of us on the phone, and the number one question we get when we go out and do presentations and talks and area meetings is, oh, this is really great. Where can I get the stuff, right? Where do I get the commercial? Where do I get the flyers?
Right. Well, you can get your hands on the stuff in a couple of different places. One is, of course, BSA Brand Center. All of these materials will be uploaded there when they are complete, as you'll find materials for all of the program areas, Cub Scouting, Boy Scouting, venturing, etc. But you can also go to a one-stop shop, scouting.org/lion. Scouting.org/lion gets
not lions, but lion.
Correct.
Singular.
Lion,
okay.
without the S. That gets you to program information, FAQs, everything you need to know about the Lion pilot.
Okay, so it's not a standalone program.
Correct.
It's a pilot.
Yep.
So the new commercial, all this stuff. When do you see that going live?
So those will be available by the end of next week and posted on those sites shortly thereafter. So within the next 7 to 10 days or so, you'll have that stuff available. And of course, that's for use this fall when that pilot officially kicks off.
That's exciting. So we know everyone right now is talking about the Jamboree. 2017 Jamboree's coming up, and we know that if you were there back in the 2013 Jamboree, was an amazing experience. And now the site is even more fully developed. Volunteers are being recruited, youth are being recruited into the program, and we get a lot of questions these days about, great, we're going to summer camp, or we've got a presentation to a unit, or we've got a presentation to Roundtable. Where can I get the stuff? What are the marketing assets and resources available that we can use to market the Jamboree? So we've invited Tom Rue. Tom leads our national marketing team here at the National Service Center, and one of his responsibilities is leading the group that puts together Jamboree marketing assets and materials, working with the great team out in West Virginia working on the Jamboree. So Tom, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Great, glad to have you here. So Tom, the National Jamboree is coming up, and there's a lot of tools out there, right?
There are everything you can imagine. I'll walk through some of them, and I'll start at the beginning and the end, letting you know. If you go to bsajamboree.org, scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see a Jamboree promo toolkit. So that's bsajamboree.org.
Okay, so if I go to bsajamboree.org, is that just what all is on that site?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a rundown. There's probably 5 key things we could talk about and let you know, and I'll go through them quickly.
Sure.
It's not only what's out there, but sort of how to use them. Number one is there's a PowerPoint presentation that's an overview with slides on what is Jamboree, what you do during the 10 days, from patch trading to day of service to duty to God to arena shows, and it's fully built out with speaker notes attached at the bottom of it.
If I could take that PowerPoint presentation, then that would be something I could take to a troop meeting, maybe a roundtable meeting. Is that something I could even take to maybe even a church camp, right?
Any kind of scout camp, nothing really beats an in-person, energetic meeting to say, here's what Jamboree is, here's a look at it, take a look at it. I would highly encourage that as really the great place to start. Second thing is video. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. On the promo page there, you'll find a 30-second teaser video. You will find a 90-second overview video. You'll find a couple of different videos from, we have Matt Moniz as an Eagle Scout from Colorado. He's climbed 5 of the 7 highest peaks in the world. He's an amazing scout. He comes on and talks about why you should attend the summit. So a lot of video resources and assets out there, and that's a great way to communicate the message around Jamboree. Third thing is we know the world has gone digital and everyone's on line, there are web banners of all shapes and sizes. You could put on your local council a banner that is basically a digital advertisement about the Jamboree. People can click on it. It could take them to a registration page to find out more about Jamboree. So those come in 3 or 4 different sizes. So web banners are a key part of the thing.
You know, I think the web banners are gorgeous. You know, we were looking at these again yesterday. Of course, they've been out there for almost a year now. But, you know, it's not just big crowd shots of people. There's a lot going on in these things, right?
There really are. The other thing is email templates. We talked about digital. I mean, direct mail's out there. People can mail things all the time. But email is such a good, effective way to communicate. We have a template built. It has a banner at the top, and on there it's just a header and information about Jamboree. But then down throughout there, you can customize text, put it out, put it in an address list. Be sure it's an opt-in address list. You can then see everything you need to about email opportunities to be able to send out email to anyone that would be interested in attending a Jamboree. And final thing I'll mention is coming this week, councils are going to be able to get customized Jamboree promotional flyers at no cost. It is a template that's blank and set up. It has a little bit of text on there. You can then add information about your contingent going, your local council tour and trip, and put out a Jamboree promotional kit that has anything you'd want to share and talk about and do around Jamboree. So that's out there also at no cost to you to be able to be customized and used.
Right, so that's something that's in development right now. That's working with a vendor who allow us to be able to pull up a flyer, customize it, and ship them to councils at no charge.
Exactly.
Right? So there's a communication I know that's being developed right now on that, and we're actually testing the system later on this week to see just exactly how it functions so we can tell councils how to use it. But that's sending councils really bundles based on their previous camp attendance numbers, right?
That's exactly.
So it could be used for camp presentations, could be used for presentations again at roundtable, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, really just an opportunity to, we are making great progress on registration, but really between now and August is the opportunity to really come in and hit it hard with Jamboree. This is the chance. At national meeting, there's a lot going on. Coming into summer camps, is a chance to focus and really push registration at the end of the day to give youth a once in a lifetime experience at Jamboree.
So you've got a great PowerPoint presentation. You've got videos, and there are other videos up on the toolbox as well. You've got email templates. You've got web banners. You've got a lot of tools in the toolbox to be able to go out and have those conversations with kids. Because Jamboree really it's one of those life-changing experiences that not many young people will have a chance to do one more than once, right? So, I mean, it would be a shame to have any kid at least not have the opportunity or scout have a chance to sign up for a National Scout Jamboree. They really are a mountaintop experience. Okay, so the great question is, for those marketers out there who are looking for the stuff, where do you find these assets and resources?
Just a reminder, they're at bsajamboree.org. Look out there, there's information on all the advertising resources I mentioned, information about the council resource toolkit, things you need, ongoing updates. So bsajamboree.org.
bsajamboree.org, and there's a promo toolkit link on that site, and that's where you can download all the assets and resources. And then watch out for a communication coming probably early part of next week about bulk ordering some of those other Jamboree assets and resources. Tom, thanks a lot. That was great.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael.
So the President's Marketing Awards, we're excited about the President's Marketing Awards because this is actually the 18th year that the National Service Center has put on the National President's Marketing Awards. And since we have mostly marketing folks on the phone, one of the reasons it was created because years ago that there were great marketing efforts going on across the country. And the National Service Center 18 years ago was getting phone calls, people saying, hey, have you seen any good FOS flyers? Have you seen any good annual reports? And the staff at the time would share out samples and would be able to point to councils who it looked like were doing a great job in those arenas. So the President's Marketing Awards were created to begin to share some of those best practices and ideas, but also as a way to recognize councils that however they were getting it done, were doing some great work in reaching youth and families with scouting and raising money and communicating about the brand and all those kinds of things. So I'm delighted to have with me this morning Karen Thompson and Karen Rash. Both of the Karens have spent many hours over the past several months, both collecting the entries into the marketing awards, working with the volunteer judges that come on and help us take a look at all of these assets and resources. They read those briefing sheets that come along with them. And they really kind of help recognize the councils that seem to be doing a fantastic job in a lot of places. So Karen Thompson, welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Hello, thank you, Michael. Glad to be here. We're excited.
Yeah, we are excited. This is, so we have, so the awards, there's a reception at the National Annual Meeting next week, right?
Yes,
which is coming up
specifically to honor the honorees.
That's right. Yeah, which is a great platform for us to be able to highlight great marketing work from councils. And I think it's really important to say that how many award entries did we get this year?
We got 302.
From
actual,
I think 90.
From about 59, 60 councils.
Right. So
yes.
it's an amazing
Yes.
breadth and depth of work
It
from really
is.
across the country.
It
And
is.
so it's not just a beauty contest, right?
No, it's not just a beauty contest. There are categories where the aesthetics are important, but the judging is designed to focus on the goals of the efforts and how well they met those goals. So we just want everybody to know that we're not just looking at, highly defined design. We're looking at what you intended those pieces to work for.
Well, I think that's where those write-ups that come with those are really important. I know for the marketing directors and marketing staff out there who've done this, I really kind of understand this. But the write-ups are the way that those judges can look and say, well, this looks really great, but what was the goal and what did it accomplish?
Exactly, right? Because a lot of people do ask that. The write-ups are very important. People always ask how they can do better. So first of all, it's the great work that you do. It's the great design that showcases that. But then it's showcased in the write-ups. The judges depend on that. They're looking at those as part of their decisions, and they really do read those. So we want everyone to know that it's not just an effort and futility. It's not just a lot of busy work. We actually do read those entries.
We actually show your work. We do actually read it, right?
Exactly.
Just like in school.
Exactly. And the judges, again, because these are judges who are not members necessarily of our staff or our profession, they're looking at them and they don't exactly know what you're trying to do. So they need that information to let them know what you are trying to achieve. So they use that for all of the 15 categories, and those include public relations, annual reports, finance, marketing campaigns, and more. And plus this year we're very excited to include some new categories, because we all know that we're moving towards that whole digital front. Actually, we're already there. So basically we included a lot more involved with those kind of categories.
More digital type categories.
Digital categories, but we also included one category for STEM awareness.
Oh, right.
Because that's also very big on our front, as it is with everybody else
Sure.
here in the country. So we included STEM awareness, we included best email, best mobile campaign, best social media campaign, which that includes all of the different areas that everybody's familiar with: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Also best video, which includes Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, and now live streaming. So again, we mentioned we had over 300 entries, and the results, which the PMAs, which is our new abbreviation. It's really cool.
Just calling it the
It's cool.
PMAs,
Isn't it
right?
cool?
Very, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The PMAs are actually recognizing 98 entries this year, and I want to emphasize that these are recognitions. There are no place categories like first, second, third, etc. Just recognition of good, strong work, and those entries are recognized. Which a lot of you are familiar with Karen, because she's probably helped many people to submit their entries. Karen also helps me in getting out these wonderful things that we like to recognize our councils with, which include a trophy, and you'll be getting a framed certificate, a President's Award, patches, several patches for your council. And then there's something new this year that we hope you like, and we wanted to do because we just want to do a little extra recognizing on the effort of your piece that you submitted. So we're going to include this time an 8x10 frame-worthy image of your winning entry.
Those are so great. I know when in my time in a council with marketing awards, it was always great to invite, if I had a volunteer who had helped me with that effort, or whoever it was, to invite them to come to the next board meeting. We actually would do a presentation and congratulate them on their great work. And it was a chance to highlight them to the board, highlight their great work, and frankly hope we could get some more help on things in the future, right?
Right.
So that's all great. And the brass, it looks great hanging on the wall, looks good in the council trophy case too, right? Okay, well, so I tell you what, now all that's fantastic, but my favorite part about the marketing awards is that it gives such a view of, even if it's just a snapshot of great marketing work going on around the country, because I know, again, from a council perspective, it's you kind of see what's up close, but you love to see what's going on across the country. What kind of great things are going on out there? This kind of gives you a viewpoint of some of those things. One of the things I thought was interesting about this year's marketing awards are some of those new categories. I thought mobile marketing was really interesting. We had I had more than a couple. We had
many.
Very interesting entries. I know Ozark Trails was one of those pieces that they had put in place. A Connecticut Yankee, and I think both of those touched on different event type marketing. I know particularly Connecticut Jam or Con Jam at a Connecticut Yankee was a great app. And a really interesting write-up on those kinds of things. So it's exciting to see scouting. We get so caught up sometimes in starting fires and sitting around a campfire. To see us fully mobile is really cool, right?
It was cool. And then also it was very cool because, as we mentioned, based on the write-ups that we've asked councils to submit, we were able to see just how, not only attractive and how visually stimulating some of those were, but we were able to see the behind the scenes and what they put into it and what their objectives were for creating these pieces, and then what the impact was in the end. It was like they were able to show us, sometimes through metrics, which are always wonderful, percentages and things like that, but actually just to hear people say that they achieved more attendance, or they got the attention of the audience that they were going after. So, we know that that's a field, this area is highly evolving, and this is where a lot of our folks live. So it's great to see them using this.
Well, I think just to be in that mobile space too, we have such a reputation as an organization of being maybe a little bit old school. We're a little bit short pants, long socks, hiking in the woods, right?
We're moving out of that.
But, you have an app is kind of is what parents expect, quite frankly, today's parents. But so to actually see that in practice is really exciting. I know one of the categories that's been around for a while, but is also interesting to look at, particularly this one out of Mincy Trails because of their write-up, is the website category. Right? And so I know that one of their goals was they really wanted to enhance the overall experience of what they did, right?
Right.
And I know that they were looking at reaching their key audiences and really beginning to drive some traffic, because the website really was a single source of truth for them as they did work in the social media space. It all drove back to the website, right?
Exactly.
There were interesting things going on in that space as well, too. The other category I thought was really interesting was email marketing, right?
Always a winner.
And I know back in the day, email marketing, before the earth cooled, was you spin up a bunch of emails and you send them out and hope it works, right?
Right.
But we've seen a lot of councils, like Northern Star, get very sophisticated with their email.
Right, and what you're seeing or what you're showing is is probably a more static version of what it really is, because a lot of these pieces have animation involved. They have some very cool graphics. And once they're sent out, that attracts attention. So the fact that we have a lot of people who are savvy and can produce these things, and we recognize that maybe that's not everyone's bailiwick, but this achieved what I think Northern Star was trying to get to, and that's basically where it comes down to. We want to know that you understand the mediums that you're working with, and if not, by your write-ups, hopefully we can glean areas where we can help you.
That's right. Well, what's interesting about this campaign is that they said it was really targeted at new youth coming into the program, and a 60% open rate on email, which is far, far beyond industry standards for opening rates. But really, it was a chance to engage those new families coming into scouting and invite them to be part of everything. Well, camp opportunities, and really open up more communications with new families. And we've seen through the research that onboarding and getting families engaged early is so important, right?
Very important.
Because sometimes you fill out an application and you don't go to a meeting for a couple of weeks and you don't really get engaged. But this was a chance to reach out immediately and have an impact.
Exactly.
But they had a 69% open rate and a 32% click-through rate, and only one unsubscribe out of all those, which is, again,
that's
a
stellar.
pretty solid stat. So they tell us what they learned from this was that multiple entry points are a great idea, They also said they did a lot of work experimenting with the subject lines. I see that with my own email. If the subject line's not something I'm interested in, I'm not going to open it.
You got to grab the attention. Exactly.
And some of this is just basic blocking and tackling, but it's really important in the world of email marketing. And I know we'll see more in this category going forward.
I hope so.
You know, finance support is another interesting category because there's so much innovative work that goes out there. The councils are looking for ways, to engage with an audience and send a message that both talks about the brand, communicates the right images, but really encouraging them to support what they love, which hopefully is scouting. So Pathway Adventure did that.
Well, and I think one of the things that they did well here, I was, of course, not a judge, but, you know, it's showing what we always do best, is show the people that we serve, and that's those kids. And so those faces there are just so genuine, and they're so wonderful. And when people see that, how could you not support financially?
Oh, right.
How could you refuse?
Absolutely. Well, the background on this one is that, you know, their whole goal was to lower the percentage rate of those unfulfilled pledges. You know, the pledge cards that go out and they go in somebody's drawer and they never get around to fulfilling the pledge for whatever reason, right? And also, so obviously increase the percentage of decrease the number of unfulfilled pledges, but increase the number of donations and raise awareness of how their donations are benefiting the community. And so they did that with a strong, engaging image, some great copy that says, because of you, here's what we've accomplished in the council. So just beautiful things. And actually, these are again, it's not technically complicated. These were envelope stuffers going out with donation cards, right?
Exactly. And so I think that's the other thing that we need people to understand is that, you know, it's not necessarily that this is something that was prepared by a group of design experts or an agency. This was something that they did on their own, but they took key elements, which the because of you is just something that kind of tugs at that reader and says, because of you, we can do these things. Right. So that really actually showed that they know their audience. They
really do. In fact, that's one of the things that jumped out from me most in their write-up about this piece was that the one line that we learned that emotion drives action. And we see people, they see, they feel, and they see how their donations are making a difference. And their pledges are making a difference.
Exactly.
And they highlight that here. And by the way, I don't know who did the creative work for him, but it is beautiful. I love the picture of the kid at the top is just adorable. Social media is another interesting category that we saw. We don't have a lot of commentary on this particular one, but I think this is a space that every meeting we go to in presentation, it's a conversation about. I really want to begin to use social media to build the brand, to drive engagement. Of course, ultimately the goal is we want to drive financial support, we want to drive membership, we want to engage with parents, and we're seeing more and more of that kind of work going on around the country. So I know one of the things that we're working on now is mining this particular category and finding councils like the Dan Beard Council that are working in this space, trying to figure out how to really make it work for us.
Exactly.
And we'll be sharing that later on, probably on a future NextConnect conference.
Right.
So great work. So what's really the other great thing about this is that we added a category called STEM awareness or STEM marketing,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Now, obviously, there are pilots going on with STEM all across the country right now.
Well, right. And so therefore, you know, we've got a lot of people who understand the value of this area. And so they are capitalizing on it. And actually, the Capital Area Council here was one of those people that did that, as well as the Central Florida Council. So we love knowing that we're being heard from a organizational standpoint, and that people are embracing this. And then when we see these pieces and we see how well they've been executed, it's like we might need to call them and ask them a few pointers on what they're doing. But again, that's something that we like to hear from people and know how they're doing this, and then we can possibly share this with other councils who ask us, you know, how can we do better? How can we use some of these things? We want people to understand that maybe there's not information that we can share with everyone about everything that someone submitted, but we're trying to get to a point, it's continuous improvement.
Sure.
So we're getting to a point where we can hopefully come up with some pointers that we can provide to the winners or the honorees, as well as to people who submitted and didn't come out as an honoree this time. But we want you to know you're also an honoree in our book because you made this a success by being part of it. And
it's a great conversation to have. You know what's fun about the STEM category right now is that it's a new category. And I think we're also programmed to see the scouting material as it's outdoor adventure, and
camping,
it's a different delivery of character and leadership. But STEM takes a whole different look at that. So you've got things like robots and a piece out of Capital Area Council and a different technology take. So it's a little bit different look. Even though the goal really is to develop character and leadership in young people.
It addresses a different need too for parents.
Yeah, so it's fun to look at.
Because some parents want to say, well, hey, how are you going to stimulate my child's mind, and how are you going to get them involved in things that they're using in school? And so being able to show that we do that also, as well as take them outside and give them a great outdoor education, I think this is a great start for a lot of people.
It's great stuff. So, Karen, I'm also glad you're here because one of the areas that Karen works in is with the BSA Brand Center, and I don't want to get away from our conversation today without saying great work on the Brand Center. We've never we said in a previous call we've never had more a broader or deeper bench of marketing and communications brand assets, and rather than being on the old site that they were on, we've begun to and just about finished the migration to the new BSA Brand Center.
Pretty much,
In a
yes.
couple of words or less, what's different about the Brand Center? I mean, why should marketing people go here to this site?
Well, I think that we're trying to get to the point where the usability is a lot more efficient, and we know that there have been a few little glitches there, but we are here to help with those, Karen and I and other people here on our staff. But the basic thing is that the Brand Center is just a lot more visually easy to use.
Right.
And we have categories here where it's not just the resources, the fillable or resources that a lot of people are used to. There are photos here, videos, all types of things that people can use, and the templates are quite easy to call up and include information. So basically it's just a more user-friendly site.
It really is.
And there's a lot more information here, for councils. It's not just for, the pretty stuff, for the design stuff. There's a lot more information for councils on how to conduct their meetings and things like that.
And that's funny you mentioned that because one of the phone calls we get, if not at least once a week, is, hey, I saw this really great video and I'd love to use it to open my board meeting or close my board meeting, or we're having a planning conference, or I'm going to go to a round table or a boy talk or whatever it is, or I have an opportunity to show a video on the televisions inside the in-school TV network, which we hear more and more about that type of thing. Or I want to put it on my social media feed. Where do I get that? And the answer is you can find it on the Brand Center, right? And so that's where all of those assets are posted, so you can view them, you can download them, you can save them to your mobile device, your iPad, or wherever you need to use it. But it's so much easier to use than the previous system.
Well, and you mentioned the brand part of things, and for me as a brand manager, one of the things that I like about this is that we produce pieces that councils can use that are already brand compliant.
Right, so you're not having to reinvent the wheel,
yes, you
right?
don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the thing is, you don't have to, you may have questions, you may say, well, okay, this all looks alike. But that's part of consistency, and that's part of building that brand and building that recognition so that no one has any doubt who you work for and who you represent and who we are as a family of scouting. So you'll see pieces on here that are part of our new campaign, Building Adventure, but we also have Exploring. We also have a lot of new pieces and new videos that are separate from, but can be used in conjunction. So
see, that's exciting.
I think you'll see a lot of stuff.
And it bears mentioning again that years ago, before we really began to focus on brand consistency, we would go to a meeting and we would have 20 people sitting around the table and we would say, okay, everybody put your business card on the table. And they would. And occasionally you would find two that matched, but you would have horses and acorns and satellites and all kinds of stuff, and you wouldn't know who we were. You were the Boy Scouts. But I think we've come a long way since then. And this is a big part of that, is making sure, not just saying, hey, you should go be branded. Here are the assets and resources you need and the brand guides, not just go do it, but here's how you do it.
Well, and
that's very helpful.
we saw a lot of recognition in the marketing awards, and I was very proud to see that because I saw a lot of councils really striving to include in their presentations the building adventure images and the whole language, because it's not just, I think a lot of people get mixed up about just photos and design. It is the language that we use.
Sure.
It's the language
It all
that we
comes
want
together.
we want people to understand when they read about us or they see things about scouting. So I was happy as a brand manager to see all of those things that came through. And again, we had judges who were not BSA professionals.
But they're marketing professionals, so they know their space.
So they know it, and they actually, I know a lot of people might question, or say, well, hey, who are these guys? These guys are just like the so many of the people that we have who work with us volunteers. They volunteered their time. They spent hours going through all of these entries, and it was wonderful. They got a lot out of it. A lot of them said that they really enjoyed doing this. So
fantastic.
we want to give them a shout out.
Well, that kind of brand consistency is important. We always say that if every McDonald's in the country had a different logo, we wouldn't know who they were. But they have. So Karen Thompson and Karen Rash, thank you so much for your work on the Marketing Awards. A quick shout out to Karen Rash. Many of you know Karen because many times when you call the marketing group, Karen's the voice you hear on the phone, and she's the one that helps.
Help voice.
She's the helpful voice, right? Who it's everything
Yes.
from infographics to, hey, I need a photo of two guys in a canoe for an annual report. So a shout out and a deep thanks to Karen for all the work you do. Thanks, we appreciate you.
Karen.
Yes, great work.
Enjoy it. Thank you.
Great, and thank you for joining us for the May edition of NextConnect. We will actually take and download this video. We're going to merge it with the PowerPoint presentation so you can see it. We clean it up a little bit, and then we share it out through the scouting wire so you can listen to it again. And Karen, before we let you get away, the President's Marketing Awards material is posted up on the web, and where would they find that?
Yes, there is a marketing site for the PMAs. It is www.scouting.org/marketing awards.
Very good. www.scouting.org/marketing awards. So you'll find
Exactly. And you'll find the brochure, which has been created to showcase all of the honorees this year, including the honorable mention honorees. And also there's a list that is downloadable if you want to take that and share that with friends and family. And you can just download that as well.
Mom, look what I did.
Right.
Right.
We need to do some bragging rights here. So that basically is that. And like we said, all of the other goodies that come with being honorees will be sent to each of the council winners in the mail.
Fantastic. That's great. Karen, thanks again.
Thank you.
Join us again on June the 21st for the next NextConnect session. We'll be talking about fall recruitment. It's hard to believe, but that's coming around the corner quickly. But join us then for more information on fall recruiting. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next month.